Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
So come back after break, and yes, they have put Butch Reed versus Terry Taylor last again. So Reed comes out, and he's introduced, he's not there. He finally comes out with his arm in a giant sling. Like elbow to
Look like that diaper that
fingertip,
Bill
yes.
Watts was going to put Cornette in.
Yes. And he says, "This fool stuck up behind me, shoved me to the post. I want this delayed to next week. I'll beat the dog mess out of him." And Boyd Pierce is not falling for this. You can wrestle or you can forfeit. Butch insists this is crap. He turns his back and yanks off that sling. And not only was his arm not broken, but it's hiding the coal miner's glove.
Fuck, this was like, I had some toy when I was little. It was a Godzilla toy.
Fires the fist.
Yeah, and it fired a fucking fist
Like
for
Mecha
some
Mummy.
reason.
Yeah.
Like, why the fuck did Godzilla fire his fist?
I had the same toy. It was awesome.
But, yeah, this was like a giant... I'm trying to think what else this reminded me of.
A gauntlet?
Bigger than a gun. I mean,
Like a knight? Where's a...
It looked like, you know...
Like Thanos, the Infinity Gauntlet.
Bigger. I mean, it was like the biggest thing I've ever seen on a guy's arm. This fucking glove was like this big. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's big and metal, and he whips Terry's ass with it. Terry dodges like one, but then he gets punched in the head over and over again. And Butch throws the ref out of the ring. So the Rock and Rolls come out to save again.
Thank God they're there.
Yeah. So we go to break. We come back, and Jim Ross then informs us Butch Reed has now been disqualified from the tournament.
But he's still wrestling next week.
Yes.
Yes.
So Terry Taylor advances to the finals in 2 weeks.
This fucking tournament absolutely sucks.
It's amazing.
It absolutely sucks. And you know what's funny is if you go back to the very beginning, when this whole thing started, as soon as they held up that stupid-ass brackets on paper, where you're like looking at the paper and it's like, they didn't even go to a fucking print shop. They got a Sharpie and like they started doing the brackets and they're like, oh, fuck. That guy's supposed to be over here. Do we have another? We don't have another paper? Son of a bitch. Okay, well, this line's going to go up here, and then this one's going to do a curly key. Like, you could just look at it and go, the fuck are these graphics?
Yes, they cross lines on the brackets.
Yeah, what the fuck is this tournament? You're just looking at it thinking, what? But it's Mid-South, so you're thinking, okay, well, they'll find a way to make this work. No.
They did not.
This is second only to that WCW tournament that Russo booked, where, like, Medusa was in it twice. Fuck. God damn, what a shitty tournament this turned out to be.
Masao Ito versus Larry Santana. We have the only complete wrestling match in the show.
Yes. It sucked.
I did laugh when Ito hit a pile driver and wasn't not even a cover. No. Killing finishers here in 1984.
Sweet pile driver, too.
Yeah, and then instead he went with a back elbow, which they called a giant chop.
He is sort of like a giant chop. But I was watching this match, and it was I just watched it, and, you know, he got that chop and won, and then he smiles, and he's so happy. And, you know, you just watch these matches back then, and everybody is so fucking light.
Oh, yeah.
They don't touch each other. And, you know, then you always hear the argument that look at all the shit these Will Ospreays and Kenny Omegas and Seth Rollins, anybody, like they're so hard on their bodies, and look at these guys from the 80s that are all fucked up doing this and that. And I was really thinking about it, and it was like, you know, when you actually think about it, you know, we had the rash of early deaths in the 80s and 90s, all these guys under 40 that were dying. And, you know, I'm not saying that didn't happen, because it did. But you kind of get fixated on the people who died, and you don't really think about all the people that didn't die and ended up just fine. And, you know, the fact of the matter is there's tons of guys from the 80s and 90s that are alive today, and they're moving around all right, and everything's fine. And I think, you know, when you really think about all of these deaths, I mean, it wasn't the style. I mean, fuck, you could watch the guys work. That's not what led to their early deaths. What it was the fucking lifestyle more than anything else. I mean, they lived like rock stars. You can ask Craig. You want to go through a list of under 40 rock star deaths? Fuck. It wasn't from singing. It was from all the other shit they did. And there were a lot of guys in the 80s and 90s that did a lot of shit and ended up dying young. And, you know, there are people that are banged up today. You know, you're obviously going to get banged up wrestling. But I just watch these guys work, and it's like, man, this job should have been really easy. But a lot of people made it really hard.
Buddy once told me wrestling's like sex, drugs, and rock and roll, except there's no rock and roll.
For some of us, there's no any of those things.
Fair.
So the show's closing. Jim Ross pushes the Bill Watts Stagger Lee Midnight Feud one more time. They replay the Bill Watts video, the whole thing, all 2 minutes of it. So next week, yes, it's Jim Duggan versus the Russian Invader, as the Mystery Max Man already has a name in 10 minutes. And yes, I didn't realize this until Brian pointed it out, but Butch Reed is wrestling next week.
Yeah.
Teaming with Buddy Landell against the Rock and
He's
Roll
just
Express.
out of the tournament. That's it.
And then in 2 weeks, it's Terry Taylor versus Crusher Khrushchev for $10,000 and that beautiful medal.
That's 2 weeks from now. Are you heading to Las Vegas for WrestleMania? If so, clear some time on the calendar because we have a lot of great events. It's our annual convention, the WrestlingObserver.com/F4W online convention in Las Vegas this year on WrestleMania weekend. April 18th, Friday, April 19th and 20th. We got special events every day. Friday will be the Dave Meltzer, Bryan Alvarez live Q&A. You can show up. We've got a meet and greet. Perhaps we'll have some merch. And you can ask us any question that you would like at the live Q&A. This will not appear as a podcast, a video podcast, audio podcast. You can only see and hear the Dave Meltzer, Bryan Alvarez Q&A if you attend live. That is April 18th at noon at the beautiful Palms Resort Casino in Las Vegas. We will also have wrestling watch parties. Have you ever wanted to watch wrestling with Dave Meltzer? 2 wrestling watch parties coming up that weekend, as well as 2 after parties. What is an after party? It's exactly what it sounds like. After WrestleMania, both nights, you'll be able to come back to a suite. I'll be there, Dave, a bunch of other friends and subscribers, and you'll get to party. We'll have alcohol, food, and more. These are the after parties after WrestleMania Night 1 and Night 2. If you want to go, you got to buy your tickets now. Tickets available for everything at f4wonline.com/Vegas. Easy. f4wonline.com/Vegas. Did I mention we're going to have a group dinner at Texas Day Brazil? It's an all-you-can-eat steakhouse, all-you-can-eat steak. I hear some of you right now, I don't eat meat. Doesn't matter. They have the best salad bar you'll ever see. Texas Day Brazil. You can grab your tickets for that meet and greet / dinner as well. Where? F4wonline.com/Vegas. See you there.